I'm going to start today's show a little differently. We're going to pretend like we're on the air when we're not. And I'm assuming people can hear me because I have messages for the guys in the control room, and I'll just work them in before the announcements. Hi, I'm Matt Dillahunty. Welcome to the Atheist Experience. We are live. Today is Sunday, like October 25th or something. Tracy Harris is with me. I'm sure we'll get to the point where we actually do a show at some point. But for the guys in the booth, not only could we not hear anything out of the speaker, I can't hear anything when I push buttons, and no lights are coming on my telephone box. So we might have a problem taking calls today, and somebody might want to look into that. So how's there? Not only that box, but this doesn't work. So I'm sure they'll get on that and fix it. It's great because last week we only had 30 minutes to set up, and almost everything worked, except we lost audio for part of the show, and we, thanks to people for letting us know. There's nothing we can do about that. This week we had an hour to get ready, and because of a traffic accident that slowed us down, etc. Some things didn't quite work out the way they're supposed to, so we're rapidly trying to fix stuff and do the best show we possibly can. I'm telling you, this is no surprise. For those of you who know, we've been doing the show from my place over the summer for the last 3 months or so. Dillahunty International Studios, a palatial, quasi-residential studio where we do the nonprofits program, which is also sponsored by the Atheist Community of Boston as is this program. Now we're back in the studio. They've done lots of upgrades. We've got improvements to our HD cameras, lots of improvements in the studio. I mean, it looks great, and there's lots of cool stuff we can do. We're going to probably modify some CG stuff. None of that I care about because it's more about substance than the layering that we put on top of it. And the show is caller-driven. This is normally a live call-in television program sponsored by the Atheist Community of Austin. We'll have the number for you shortly as soon as we're sure that the phone box is actually working. And you'll be able to call in and talk to us, perhaps explain what you believe and why, have a conversation or debate about all sorts of things. It could be related to religion or philosophy or science or whatever. Just, we're trying to promote as much conversation as we can. It's absolutely hilarious. If you can see the cable that they just dragged underneath the camera to get out the door with it, it's awesome. So we thought it was Gorilla TV when we were doing it from my couch. It wasn't. It was actually smooth as silk, and it's Gorilla TV. So how you doing, Tracy?
Okay.
I have no idea if they can even switch the camera to see you or not.
I don't know.
Because we're kind of making this up. So I'll hit the announcements real quick. As I mentioned, we're sponsored by the Atheist Community of Boston. You can find out more about the ACA at the website, www.atheist-community.org. And there's a calendar of events there for all you people who are saying, hey, I'm going to be in Austin. Are you guys still doing happy hour at the Dog and Duck on Thursdays? Yes, we are. Every Thursday around 7 o'clock or so. Any atheist or atheist-friendly person is welcome to join us at any of our events. You don't have to be a member. It's open to the public. If you're coming down to preach, proselytize, provoke, punch, pick on, pester, perturb, whatever, you can just call in once we get the phones up running. And you might want to go to the close shot so Frank can sneak in undetected and give me back the phone box. Thanks. So, or now he's actually just crawling underneath. This is going to be like a play-by-play. And Frank's down on all fours, crawling underneath the cameras right now.
Yeah, get a picture of this.
Nobody can hear me because my mic's dead.
Is my mic dead?
And now it says, hello, you streamers, this is the post show.
Mine's working. You want to borrow it?
Sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, evidently. There we go. All right. And it's backwards. And now it's probably making all kinds of noise, and the audio files are all ticked off. So, now you can probably hear me. And everything I said was serious, important, and correct. There was no funny business going on, and certainly no anxiety over the clustercluck that is the studio at the moment. We're having as much fun as we possibly can, and we're trying to get things corrected. For the people who are watching on the stream, I don't think that's going to go any further. I'd hate to chop it. For the people who are watching on the stream, you might be the only ones getting a really good show. I don't know what's going on in Austin because we don't get to see what's going on outside. In addition to this program, the ACI also sponsors the bi-weekly internet audio podcast called The Nonprofits. For more information, go to nonprofitsradio.com. That's Prophetts. It's currently on a forced hiatus. I know people are going to be ticked off, but I I'm working 6 days a week, and so for the next 4 Saturdays, there cannot be a nonprofits. But we'll try and make up for it however I can. After this show's over, everybody involved gets together, and we're going to dinner at Threadgill's on Riverside. They'll have the address up in a little while. This show's on until 6 o'clock, and we normally get down to Threadgill's around 6:30. And you're welcome to come down and join us for drinks, dinner, and conversation. Upcoming events, you can, as I mentioned before, although you couldn't hear me, you can stop by the ACA website for more information about upcoming events, including what's on the calendar. And the Texas Free Thought Convention is going to be taking place November 14th, 15th. I think it's the 14th. In San Antonio, we've got information up there, or you can go to texasfreethoughtconvention.com, or maybe it's .org. Hell, I don't know. I don't even have my paperwork in front of me. This Thursday, Vic Stinger, look, there's all the people. Those are the people who are trying to fix this right now. And put their name up more often, because, I mean, you guys are doing the work to try and correct this. And I've got, look, I'm in jail. So Vic Stinger will be here this Thursday, and I don't know, but it's funny. And I don't have the information on that. Obviously, we're just making stuff up as we go along. I do have, and hopefully this gets out on the air audio, because it's something that I'd like to do as often as possible. Somebody emailed us, and actually Tracy answered first, about a counter-apologetic, I suppose, about the Apostle Paul advocating lying. The passage in question comes from Romans 3:7. Now, I've known for quite a while that this is a misunderstanding, and that if you read it in context, and actually this is where the NIV does a pretty good job of correcting it and giving you the perspective on the rhetorical device he's actually using. But verse 8 goes on to clarify it, and Paul's actually saying the opposite. He's basically saying, the people who would say you can do evil in order to accomplish good, their condemnation is justified. This isn't... So he wasn't advocating lying. However, I have for years been under the evidently false impression that Eusebius advocated lying on behalf of God. And after doing some more research, I think it was actually even included in my lecture on the biblical canon. And after doing a bunch more research in that area, it turns out that may not be accurate. That may have been him quoting from some of Plato's dialogues, and Gibbons and others have possibly read into that or misread it in much the same way that people have misread the passage in Romans. So it got me thinking, not only am I glad to find out that I'm wrong on this, although there are much better arguments on this front than, hey, this church father advocated lying, and therefore it's all suspect. The forgery was going on. There was clearly deception. There was clearly disagreement. There was a lot of politicking going on in the formation of the early church. And there are good arguments to be made. But that one, as it turns out, would be a bad argument. And it's one that I've made, and I'm happy to be corrected and happy to let other people, get the information that perhaps they have been wrong about this as well. And, feel free to look into it more and send more information if it turns out that, we were originally right or wrong. I noticed that I think it's Answers in Genesis has a web page that they put up specifically for apologists, and it's a list of arguments that they think creationists shouldn't use. Yeah, because they're really bad arguments. They're stupid arguments about stuff like moon dust that are just, a surface review of the scientific evidence shows that these particular claims are absurd. For the regular users of the Iron Chariots Wiki, if we don't already have this up, I think it's time that we create a page that is arguments that we think atheists should use, or arguments that we think shouldn't be used when arguing against Christianity or theism or something like that. Because there are. We did a whole show on who is atheists. Atheists doing silly things like suing over bumper stickers or everything under the sun. But there is no atheist doctrine, Church of Atheism. There is no Pope. That includes, Richard Dawkins or anybody else. It's just not the way it is. And the only unifying aspect of atheists is that we are all do not believe in a God, any God. Beyond that, we can have differing opinions and views on anything.